Okay, well, I hope you can see me based on the sun behind me, but car's not running at the moment. Well, it's not on. So I figured I'd do my walk around finally, because there's been a few requests for it. I figured what better place than to start on the interior. Basically, the car started 99 base model, absolute base model. Like, I had a tape deck, no ABS, no traction control, no auto stick, no nothing. Like, no power seats. Like, I had power windows, and that was about it. So, been a few upgrades in here. Most notably, I'll show you, chrome switches, door handles, door locks. Now have fog lights, 300M special cluster, CD player, boost gauge now. I've got custom-made Chrysler seatbelt pad things that I got from Keith. Headlights are back there because the engine bay is all ripped up. Added this. I don't know which one it's called. I finally found one that was black, one piece. It didn't have for the sunroof, so that was a bonus. Auto dimming mirror. If we step out, we'll go to the back. Other interiors include Recaro seat, still functional, still reclines, and it moves, but it's hard to do with one hand. I gotta fix that. If we go to the back, a little bit of body damage work that needs to be looked after. Of course, in the trunk, it's a mess. I need to do some cleaning. I've got it wired for the sub, but I don't have that back yet. Batteries in the trunk. I do have a 150 amp fuse, inline fuse here, so that if something shorts out, this will blow before burning down my car. Microphone cable. That goes to the cutoff switch to turn power on and off. That's not good. Like every other one, it's broken. The hood shocks need to be redone. Borla muffler on the very back. I believe it's called a Spitfire. That's been on the car for, I don't know. I put it on about a year after I got the car. I've had the car for about 8-9 years now, so it's 7 or 8 years old. Magilia F20s with 245/45 R18 Nitto 555 G2s. So far, loving these tires. I didn't get to put too many miles on them this year, mostly just because the car was down and undrivable while I was doing other work. Other things include the side visors, folding mirrors that I've never been able to get fold properly. Need some more cosmetic repairs and work. I guess the big thing under the hood, there's been a few little rewirings and modifications for things. This is a horrible mess over here right now. I need to rewire this into another position further back here, and need to clean up these cuts and clean up all this. This is from when I had an oil leak from the dipstick of all things. There's actually a tiny little pinhole. I don't know if you can see it. It would have been around in here. We just sealed it with JB Weld because it's a dipstick tube. So JB Weld that, because we don't know why there's a tiny little pinhole in it. Oil catch can, one side coming from this breather, one side coming from where the PVC would go. PVC removed. One piece metal intake. Yeah. I've got a bunch more little stuff I need to do with vacuum lines. I'm going to see if I can get some low end torque back by having this activated via boost. It's probably just another T here and go along like that. Turbo is a Garrett something or other. The actual number on the Garrett tag doesn't go into the Garrett system. So when I try to look up to get exact specifications on it, I don't know. Now, The car it came off of is a 1992-93 Nissan Skyline GTR. I know the owner of the car. I actually helped him remove these turbos. He had an issue with the one. I forget what was wrong with it. This one was still at the shop. Had some mild shaft play. I ended up purchasing it from him. Bought a rebuild kit from Australia. Got a new shaft from Australia. Rebuilt it myself for the first time. Turbo's doing good. It's holding so far. We're just running wastegate pressure right now. Basically just because of, like, that's what we had. That's what the factory OEM ECM is enjoying. Because of these check valves, it builds to about 7, then it bleeds back to about 6. So it's not the best. It's not actually making a whole lot of power right now. But without going to a complete standalone for around $3,000 for the standalone and the wiring and everything else, I can live with it right now. Hopefully with the low end, being able to fix this up so that I have low end torque back, that'll be a big improvement overall. Other things include that I am enjoying, other things that I'm doing, changing out to new spark plugs based off Yellow Bullet forums, looking at a few things. Air filter on here is actually, I don't know where it is. I had it here. Oh. Air filter is actually a K&N replacement filter for a SRT4, which it's a little bit mangled because it takes a bit of a beating to get in there and out of there. Intercooler going on. I'll have to put in a picture because the intercooler will be going about here. Intercooler's from an SRT4 as well. It's a factory piece. So this is being relocated by way of using the factory-sized transmission cooler. So it's going to end up roughly here. I just have to take the lines off and rebend some stuff, and that'll be good. The original plan was I was going to put it here, but then the fog light housing is basically butts up to against that, and so it's just a major pain in the ass. Lots of people say, how could this car be a 99 and not have ABS? I'll grab my flashlight here. I'll drop my flashlight here. It's actually a non-ABS equipped vehicle from factory. One of the few vehicles, probably one of the last few vehicles to come without any kind of brake, anti-lock brake system. So it does make a bit of a difference. I especially notice it because I can brake a lot harder when I am on the track. Grab this again. Brakes are power slot front rotors with Hawk HPS pads. I am looking at replacing pads this year, just due to they've been on the car for a little while, so I should probably look at replacing them. They were put on roughly a couple months after the swap to the 3.5. On the rear, I've got Napa Ultra Premium U-groove with the same pads. Also on the rear, you can notice I do have a spacer to help bring the wheel out a little bit because it just looks weird otherwise. Other future upgrades do include the mid muffler, which is a MagnaFlow right now, is going to be removed. I'm turning this into more of a functional scoop because of how I'm routing everything. The air filter is going to end up sitting here, roughly, a little bit further up, but for now I have to take off the intake pipe here, figure out how this is going to sit, and then we'll be taking some measurements and figuring out how to get it to fit in there. I need this space because in here there'll be charge pipe, which is right there, will be coming down, going this way into the intercooler. Then it's going to go back, come up and over and around, and come back up to the charge pipe, which I'm probably going to have to wrap this because that's right beside the exhaust. This does get very warm when it's running. It's actually quite nicely packaged. It's a mess right now because I've got hoses and wire, like hoses running everywhere. I just need to clean those up. But yeah, that's the positive is way back here now. Negative stud's always been there. So the negative grounds out in the trunk now. But yeah, that's where I'm at. There's lots more to do. Big upgrades coming will include a standalone system. I am looking at going with the Holley Dominator system, mostly because it will do everything I need it to do. It's universal. It's going to carry everything I need it to do. It'll surpass anything I can do with this engine. I do have a 4-liter crank sitting inside in the house. I do have 2 more parts cars with 3X engines coming to me sometime in the spring. I do plan on doing a bit more cleanup under the hood. These rusted pretty bad, so I'm going to look at getting something else here, getting different washers, dressing it up a little bit, eliminating some wires at dead end. I need to fix that sensor, split the map sensor, and everything should be good. So, any questions, feel free to message me, leave a like, comment, all that fun stuff. And I hope to be doing these more often. I do have a whole bunch of work to do today. Where's my box? I've got the fog lights, like I said. I've got the fog lights, spark plugs to do. I've got an oil change to do. I'm also swapping the filter for this. I do use a Wix racing filter on the car usually, but this one's got no kilometers on it. So I'm going to pull it off, swap this one on, dump in a half a can of Seafoam, run the engine, get it to temp, and then drain out the fluid, drain out the oil, give it a good flush. I use liquid moly 540. It's the stuff that German cars use all the time, so I'll be doing that. I've also got a reassembled fog light assembly to put in. I've also got some anti-seize, dielectric grease. I've got this to put on to swap out so I can put in my oil pressure gauge. So on that note, I will talk to you guys later.